right, Brent Pourciau at TopVelocity.net. We got Dr. Ryan Crotin here with armcare.com, and we got Jordan Osagera.
Way better.
Yeah, I did it finally. Armcare.com, and we're going to cover the 6 best, or our 6 favorite at the moment, arm care exercises. And we're going to start with Jordan.
Yes. Yeah, so obviously, I like to utilize the app whenever possible, and we have in the features of the premium something called the strength test feature. So you're able just to connect directly to the app, and you can find in that go through your data, find out where your weak link is on there, that area that you need to kind of help build the strength in. Get it in the position. Just for the instance of it, we'll say that it's a grip. So I'll be in that grip position, and I can squeeze, and you can see it's going to read that information. So if we say that my max was 36.8 pounds, I can go to that athlete and say, look, I want you training at 80%. Because I'm not a math wizard, we're going to go ahead and say 80% is 30 pounds. So I'm going to tell them I want you to do 5 sets of those 5-second holds on that isometric to really activate that muscle. Don't go over 30 pounds, so I'm able to get in there and use that information to make sure I'm not training at too high of an intensity. On the other side of that, if I want to make sure that we are putting that effort into isometric, and one of the big knocks on isometric is you can't quantify the strength and how much effort's going into it. Well, now you can. So that's why I like this. Isometric is great because it dumps that calcium into the muscle, helps with pain receptors, a whole bunch of different things like that. So it's a way to get more out of your isometric work and finding those weak links in those positions, laying on the back, pressing in reverse, however you really need to do it.
All right, my turn? Well, I just want to add on to Jordan, because when you do the post-exam, it's generally starting that mega dose after your throwing programs, you're getting the isos in. So I love that too. I'm going to show you something different. We got our course, our certified arm care specialist. You'll see me use bands and everything, and with Zach, one of the guys in our company. But the certified pitching biomechanist course really kind of connects the dots between training and some of the important coordination features. And we talked a lot about arm position. So I'm going to talk about how you can improve strength being inverted. One of the things we talk about is a pitch efficiency ratio, throwing less pitches per inning. A lot of that has to do with changes in arm position, changes your release point, changes your accuracy. So I'm going to show you what you can do with a wall. There was a question today in live, can I train in Malaysia? Well, all you need is a wall. So you can definitely train in Malaysia. All right. The first thing that I'm going to do is just a straight kick up handstand. Okay. So basically I got my hands on the floor. I got the wall. Okay. And you're pushing, like I'm trying to really push myself, okay, through the ground. Now, I have a shirt on, but if I didn't, you would see as I'm pushing through the ground, my shoulder blades are rotating up, okay? So if I'm raising my arm just like this, how it works is that my shoulder blade has to rotate up first to allow space for my arm to move upward. Now, if my hands are fixed on the floor, the cool thing is the opposite action is that the shoulder blades move upward about a fixed axis being your arms. Now, the other thing I like too is taking it one step further is having some dynamic control with this. So again, all you need is a wall. This is kind of crazy because it's on a mound. But I'm basically just doing a wall walk up, okay? Where I'm bringing myself to the wall, I'm driving my hands through the ground, and then I'm walking myself down, okay, pretty carefully. Now, you could get to a position, you got some strength through your shoulders, and you could do high plank, okay, downward dogs, okay, with your feet elevated. There's all sorts of ways to use the wall, and I call that, it's closed chain, dual vector co-contraction training in an inverted position.
All right, I'm going to do the same thing we'd be with an open chain, overhead, arms locked out. Ideally, you're going to also, and you don't need to do something this heavy. You can go a lot lighter with a dumbbell. But what you need to see is, are you even able to get to this position? Can you get the humerus, the upper arm, that vertical with your arm locked out? If you're stuck out here, it's some scapular issues. So if you're trying to get here and you're out in this position, I would not do this, and I would work on scapular strength. Something probably, ideally even starting with a more closed chain exercises like he's doing. But I wouldn't go to the open chain until you can pretty easily, you have the mobility to extend up over your head. And then I like to walk. So I like to walk, all that proprioception to control and bounce the bar. That's why I like eventually getting a long bar, because it's more challenging to stabilize the joint. And I like to walk down and then walk back, the same direction, and then do both arms. So it's just a similar thing to what Ryan was doing, but this would be more open chain, more work to control the joint, stabilize the joint, proprioception.
Nice.
Yeah, real quick on that. The last time we were out here, we actually were going over a lot of that stuff. I remember walking around. Ryan had to use the small bar. I had to throw weights on mine, but I started measuring the strength gains of my guys, adding that in with my high school population, and it was unreal how much everyone's shoulder, number one, got more stability through it, but the strength gains that came with it was really good. So that if you're going to bank on one of them, that's a pretty good one to throw into your routine. So
another one.
Yeah. So what kind of on that as well, I'm going to go with like a 0.5 to add up to my second one here. But I like guys to get into that quadruped position. And then what they'll do from there is find that spot again. I like to validate and get into that weak link of wherever they're at. So we'll say that it is, scaption. So we're in that quadruped position, keeping ourselves stable, get in and hold with a weight, dumbbell, hold for that, 5, 6, 7 seconds, and then work eccentric down through there. And then try to get back up to that top position, hold isometric, and then work the eccentric through. So kind of focusing on the end range of that motion and straight lever to be able to work through that and be able to get the isometric and the eccentric phase going on.
Yeah, that econ train. I'm boring your barbell. Okay.
This would be number 5.
Yeah. So one of the things, in technical Olympic lifting, when you're watching people do a snatch, and I'm going to do it from the side, typically you're seeing this nice line coming close to the body, okay? Now, this is not technical for Olympic lifting, but I do believe this is important for baseball. And what I teach is something called a Snatch Cast. So I'm going to show you in front. I try not to waste a lot of energy with concentric action. I focus on isometrics. I focus on eccentric. So basically, you're getting into a hip hinge. You're bringing the bar overhead. And then from this position, I'm working on, my core integration. I'm trying to control this barbell all the way down, okay? So then I swing it up because I don't want to waste any energy. And I'm controlling down. This is a basic level snatch cast. And I'll just show you from the side. I'm kind of on an angle, so it's a little weird. But I'm going into my hip hinge, extend overhead, okay? And now I got this dual co-contraction, my core and my low back, because I'm expanding. I'm taking the weight away from me to control back down. And that is some pretty significant eccentric strength that you can produce with an athlete. Now, you don't start them there. You definitely want to start dumbbells, and it's okay to swing dumbbells, okay, overhead and lower them down. And typically my rule is, don't put an athlete into anything beyond 10% of their body weight early on for any kind of heavy econ training. Like even, what you're doing, people might look at that and say, okay, being on all fours is easy. It's not, because you're removing the legs and you're maximizing more recruitment to your upper body musculature. So that's just something on the safety side for me.
All right, last one I would go with would be what we call, it's like a towel push-up. So basically you need something that slides. So we'll use on turf. You can even use like paper plates. But basically it looks like this, where you're going to be in a push-up position. And if you want to get on knees because you can't do it in a push-up position, you're pretty much one arm's going to press and the other arm's going to extend up.
Oh my God.
And back and out. So these would be, you could do either way, up or out to start. And then eventually you can do clock, where you're literally going up and then slide, 45 degrees and then all the way out. And that'd be one rep. So it's like this.
Wow.
And then you would do both sides. So we call those, that's a clock towel push-up or a towel push-up. But ideally you need something that slides as you go through those different positions.
That's boss. Love
those
it.
are tough. Those are tough. All right, so those are our favorite 6 arm carry exercises at the moment. I'm sure we'll have more tomorrow if we did it again. But if you want more information on the app, go to armcarry.com. If you want more information on Top Velocity and our training, go to TopVelocity.net. And keep following us because we'll have more to come.